Listen, success isn't about what you do once in a while. It's not about that one great idea, that one lucky break, or that one time you gave it everything you had. Success is about what you do over and over again, every single day, when nobody's watching, when there's no applause, when there's no reward in sight. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and doing it consistently, not just when you feel like it. Too many people think success comes from one big moment, one speech, one performance, one opportunity, but that's not how it works. It's what you do in the dark that brings you into the light. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. See, a lot of people get hyped up. They go all in for a week, maybe even a month, but the moment things get hard, they stop. They wait for motivation to show up again. But real success doesn't come from moments of motivation. It comes from the habits you build when motivation is nowhere to be found. You ever see a world-class athlete and think, man, they're gifted? You ever see a successful entrepreneur and say, they got lucky? That's what most people do. They look at the result and ignore the process. They don't see the 4 a.m. workouts, the late night grind, the sacrifices. They don't see the times that person wanted to quit but didn't. And that's exactly why most people never reach their full potential, because they chase intensity instead of consistency. Let me tell you something, intensity fades, but consistency compounds. You go hard for a week, and sure, you'll see a little progress. But go hard for a year, 2 years, 5 years, now you've built something unstoppable. The problem is, most people stop at the first sign of struggle. The first time they don't get results fast enough, they quit. The first time they fail, they retreat. And that's why success doesn't come to them. It doesn't work like that. Now think about it like this. You go to the gym once and lift the heaviest weights possible, but then you don't go back for a month. What happens? Nothing. You don't get stronger. You don't build muscle. But if you show up every day and lift consistently, even if it's not the heaviest weight, you're going to see progress. Life works the same way. Your dreams work the same way. See, life rewards those who show up. You can't expect to win if you're not even in the game. You can't expect to grow if you only put in effort when you feel good. Success doesn't care about your feelings. It responds to your actions. That's why you have to build discipline. Because some days you're going to wake up and you won't feel like doing it. Some days you're going to look around and it's going to feel like nothing is happening. That's when most people stop. But the ones who succeed, they keep going anyway. They don't need to see immediate results to trust the process. Let me tell you something, every great person you admire, every person who's made it, they weren't always great. They were just consistent. They started at the bottom like everybody else. They weren't smarter, or luckier. They were just relentless. They made a commitment to themselves that no matter what, they would keep showing up. Even when they failed, even when nobody believed in them, even when they doubted themselves. You got to ask yourself, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to keep going when it feels like nothing is working? Are you willing to put in the work when nobody's clapping for you? Because that's what it takes. That's the price of success. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they stop too soon. They start a business, and when it doesn't blow up in 6 months, they quit. They start working out, and when they don't see abs in 2 weeks, they quit. They start chasing their dream, and when they hit their first roadblock, they quit. And then they look around at the people who made it and they say, no, they're lucky. No, they weren't lucky. They were consistent. They were willing to keep going when everybody else stopped. Success is a long game. It's not about how fast you start, it's about how long you can keep going. It's about building momentum, one step at a time, one day at a time, even when it feels like you're not moving. Because eventually, those small steps add up to something big, but only if you refuse to quit. You can be talented, you can be passionate, you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you're not consistent, none of it matters. Because talent without discipline is wasted. Passion without action is meaningless. And intelligence without persistence is useless. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be the one who refuses to stop. So don't chase motivation. Build habits. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. And don't stop when it gets hard, because that's when most people quit. That's when success is separating those who really want it from those who just say they do. Be the one who keeps going. Be the one who refuses to give up. Because if you do, success won't just be a possibility at the bottom. Listen to me, success isn't about one big decision, one lucky break, or one perfect opportunity. It's about what you do every single day. It's about your habits, your routines, the little choices that seem small but add up over time. Because here's the truth. Your life right now is the result of the habits you've been practicing. If you're winning, it's because you built winning habits. If you're struggling, it's because your daily habits aren't setting you up for success. Too many people think they'll wake up one day, flip a switch, and suddenly be successful. They think they'll go from inconsistent to disciplined overnight. But success doesn't work like that. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If you're not showing up for yourself every single day, if you're not putting in the work when nobody's watching, then don't expect to see results when it matters. You ever wonder why some people keep winning no matter what? It's not luck. It's not some secret formula. It's that they do the right things consistently. They wake up with a purpose. They train their mind, their body, their craft, day in and day out. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. They understand that the little things, waking up early, reading, learning, practicing, showing up, those things compounds them in. See, most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they don't have the habits to sustain success. They start something, they get excited, but then life happens. Distractions come in. They hit a setback. And because they don't have the habits in place, they fall off. That's why you have to make winning a lifestyle, not a one-time thing, not something you do when you feel like it, but a way of life. Look, you don't become a champion because you decide to be one. You become a champion because you train like one every single day. You don't become successful because you want it. You become successful because you act on it day after day without excuses. Think about a tree. You don't see it grow, right? You water it, give it sunlight, take care of it, but nothing seems to change. Then one day after months, maybe even years, it's standing tall and strong. That's how success works. You won't always see the progress right away, but every single action, every single habit, it's adding up. It's pushing you closer to that breakthrough. The problem is most people don't stick around long enough to see it happen. They get impatient. They expect results instantly. And when they don't see them, they quit. But listen to me. If you keep doing the right things, if you keep showing up, if you keep building the right habits, success has to come. It has no choice. It's a law. Let's be real. The habits you have right now are either bringing you closer to your goals or pulling you further away. There is no in between. If you're wasting time scrolling on your phone, if you're hitting snooze, if you're making excuses, things are shaping your future just as the good habits are. That's why you have to be intentional. You have to look at your life and ask yourself, are my habits setting me up to win? If the answer is no, then it's time to change. And I'm not talking about some massive overnight transformation. I'm talking about small, daily changes that add up. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Read 10 pages of a book. Show up for your dream even when you don't feel like it. Stop making excuses. Because if you can master the small things, the big things will take care of themselves. Nobody sees the hours a musician puts in before they step on stage. Nobody sees the early mornings or late nights and sacrifices. But that's where success is built. Not in the spotlight, but in the unseen hours. So the question is, what are you doing in your unseen hours? When nobody's watching, when there's no applause, when there's no reward, are you still putting in the work? Because that's what separates those who talk about success from those who live it. Your habits are your foundation. If they're weak, your success will crumble the moment life gets hard. But if they're strong, if you build them with discipline, focus, and consistency, then nothing can stop you. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another pep talk. You need better habits. And if you start today, if you commit to changing even just one thing, then over time, you'll look back and realize that the success you once dreamed of is now your reality. Because success isn't one big moment. It's a series of small, daily decisions that shape your destiny. So don't wait. Don't hesitate. Start building the habits that will take you where you want to go. And do it every single day. Because if you do, success won't just be possible, it'll be inevitable. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants to win. But the truth is, most people are relying on something that won't get them there. They're waiting for motivation. They're waiting for that feeling, that spark, that energy to push them into action. But let me tell you something, motivation is unreliable. It's inconsistent. It comes and goes like the wind. And if you're depending on it, you're setting yourself up to fail. See, motivation is great when it's there. When you're fired up, when you're feeling good, when everything is going your way, it's easy to put in the work. It's easy to go to the gym when you feel like it. It's easy to wake up early when you're excited. It's easy to stay disciplined when the results are showing. But what happens when you don't feel like it? What happens when life hits you? What happens when you wake up and there's no motivation, no excitement, no energy pushing you forward? That's when discipline has to take over. That's when your habits, your commitment, your non-negotiables have to step in. Because if you only move when you feel good, you'll never be consistent. And if you're not consistent, you'll never be successful. The people at the top, the ones who make it, they don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. They don't ask themselves, do I feel like it today? No, they ask themselves what needs to be done, and they do it. Period. Think about it like this. When you brush your teeth in the morning, need motivation? No, you just do it. Because it's a habit. It's something you've committed to every day, no matter what. Success works the same way. You'd have to train yourself to show up regardless of how you feel. You'd have to make your goals non-negotiable. You don't work hard when you feel like it. You work hard because it needs to be done. Most people let their feelings control them. If they wake up tired, they take the day off. If they're not in the mood, they skip the workout. If they don't feel inspired, they don't work on their dream. But let me tell you something, your feelings are lying to you. Your feelings will tell you to quit. Your feelings will tell you to take it easy. Your feelings will tell you that you have time, that you can do it tomorrow. And if you listen to your feelings, you will never reach your full potential. Success doesn't care how you feel. Success doesn't wait for you to be in the mood. Success responds to discipline, to consistency, to the people who show up day in and day out, even when it's hard, even when they're tired, even when there's no motivation. You ever wonder why some people keep winning year after year? It's not because they're lucky. It's not because they're more talented. It's because they have mastered the art of doing what needs to be done, no matter how they feel. They don't need motivation to get to work. They don't need inspiration to stay disciplined. They move with purpose. They wake up with intention, and they execute no excuses. Look, I'm not saying you're always going to be excited. I'm not saying every day is going to be easy. But what I am saying is this: if you let discipline guide you instead of motivation, you will separate yourself from 99% of people. Because most people are waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting to feel like it. But the ones who make it, they don't wait. They start. They move. They grind. And they keep grinding, whether they feel like it or not. You have to make a decision. You have to decide that your goals, your dreams, your purpose, they are bigger than your feelings. You have to decide that success is not optional. That quitting is not an option. That skipping today means falling behind tomorrow. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop making excuses. You stop letting your emotions dictate your actions. You stop looking for motivation and start building discipline. Because discipline is what keeps you moving forward when motivation is gone. Discipline is what separates those who try from those who do. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop looking for a reason to take action. Success isn't given to those who wait for motivation. It's given to those who do the work every single day, whether they feel like it or not. So if you want it, go get it. No excuses. No waiting. Just work. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is not the thing standing between you and success. Failure is the process. It's the training ground. It's the test that determines whether you really want it or not. The problem isn't failing. The problem is that most people don't know how to handle failure. They take one loss, one rejection, one mistake, and they start doubting themselves. They start questioning whether they're even capable. They start thinking maybe this isn't for them. But let me tell you something. Failure is proof that you're in the game. Failure is evidence that you're trying, that you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, that you're in the fight. You don't lose because you failed. You lose because you quit. You lose because you let failure define you instead of refine you. You lose because instead of learning from failure, run from it. But let me ask you something. How do you expect to grow without failure? How do you expect to reach your potential if you're not willing to fall down a few times? There is no success without failure. There is no greatness without struggle. Every single person you admire, every person who has achieved something great, they have failed over and over again. But they kept going. They refused to quit. They understood that failure wasn't the end, it was part of the journey. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is simple. The ones who make it use failure as fuel. They take every setback, every mistake, every rejection, and they turn it into a lesson. They don't let it break them. They don't let it stop them. They analyze what went wrong, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. Most people don't do that. Most people fail once and decide it's over. They say, maybe this wasn't meant for me. No, it was meant for you, but you gave up too soon. You let one obstacle take you out when in reality the obstacle is there to make you stronger. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall, they get up. They fall again, they get up again. They don't sit there crying thinking maybe I'm just not meant to walk. No, they keep going until one day they take that first step and then another. And before you know it, they're running. That's how life works. That's how success works. But somewhere along the way, you forgot that. You started believing failure was something to be ashamed of. You started thinking failure meant you weren't good enough. But that's a lie. Failure is feedback. Failure is teaching you something. It's showing you what you need to adjust, what you need to improve, what you need to do differently. But you'll never get the lesson if you quit. You'll never grow if you walk away every time things don't go your way. You have to be willing to embrace the struggle. You have to be willing to fail and keep going. Some of you are stuck because you're afraid to fail. You're afraid to step out, to take risks, to go after what you really want because you don't want to look bad. You don't want people to see you struggle. You don't want to be embarrassed. But listen to me, fear of failure is worse than failure itself. Because at least when you fail, you learn something. At least when you fail, you grow. But if you let fear stop you, you gain nothing. You stay in the same place. You never move forward. And that's the real failure, staying the same because you were too afraid to try. You need to change how you see failure. Instead of fearing it, you need to expect it. You need to welcome it. Because failure means you're stretching yourself. Failure means you're leveling up. Failure means you're chasing something bigger than you. And that's exactly where you need to be. I think about the people who have changed the world. The people who have built empires, created inventions, broken records. You think they got it right on the first try? No. They failed more times than they succeeded. But the difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They used it as a stepping stone. They learned from it. They adjusted, improved, and came back stronger. That's the mindset you need to have. You can't avoid failure, but you can control how you respond to it. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. You can use it as an excuse to quit, or you can use it as fuel to push even harder. The choice is yours. But I promise you this, if you keep going, if you refuse to let failure define you, if you get back up every single time you fall, success will come. It's only a matter of time. And listen to me, success is not just about what you do. It's about who you surround yourself with. It's about the people in your circle, the voices in your ear, the energy you allow into your space. Because the truth is, no matter how disciplined, how focused, how hardworking you are, if you are constantly surrounded by the wrong people, they will pull you down. They will drain your energy. They will fill your mind with doubt. They will slow you down when you should be speeding up. But some of you are stuck, not because you don't have the potential, not because you don't have the talent, but because you are holding on to people who are not helping you grow. You are keeping company with people who don't believe in you, people who don't push you to be better, people who make excuses, who complain, who settle for average. And if you're not careful, that mindset, that energy, that way of thinking is going to rub off on you. You need to look at your circle and ask yourself, are these people pushing me forward or pulling me back? Are they challenging me to be great? Or are they keeping me comfortable? Because you can't afford to be around people who are comfortable with average when you are chasing greatness. You can't afford to spend your time with people who accept excuses when you are trying to build a life of discipline. You can't afford to be around people who see problems in every opportunity when you are trying to see opportunities in every problem. The people around you are either fueling your fire or putting it out. They are either lifting you up or dragging you down. There is no in between. And some of you, you've been wondering why you're not making progress. You've been wondering why you're not moving as fast as you should be. You're grinding. You're working. You're putting in the effort, but you're still stuck. And the reason is simple. You are still connected to people who don't share your vision. You can't fight if you're carrying dead weight. You can't move at full speed if you're dragging people who don't want to go where you're going. And I get it, it's hard. It's hard to let go of people you've known for years. It's hard to distance from friends, from family, from people you grew up with. But listen to me, your future is more important than your past. Your dreams are bigger than your comfort zone. And if you have to walk alone for a while, so be it. Some of you, you're holding on to people who don't even support you. You're holding on to people who don't clap when you win, who don't encourage you when you struggle, who don't push you when you slow down. And the crazy part, you know it. You know deep down that these people are not meant to go where you're going. You know deep down that they don't have the same hunger, the same drive, the same mindset. But you're afraid to cut them off. You're afraid of being alone. You're afraid of what they'll think. But let me ask you something, what's more important? Their opinion or your destiny? Their approval or your success? Because you can't have both. You have to make a decision. You have to choose whether you want to fit in with people who are going nowhere or separate yourself so you can go somewhere. And when I say cut people off, I don't mean you have to hate them. I don't mean you have to disrespect them. I mean you have to protect your energy. You have to set boundaries. You have to make a conscious decision to only allow people in your life who add value, who inspire you, who push you to be better. Because when you start surrounding yourself with the right people, everything changes. When you get around people who are hungry, who are disciplined, who are chasing something bigger than themselves, that energy is contagious. That mindset is powerful. That drive, that focus, that intensity, it pushes you to level up. You need people in your life who hold you accountable. People who don't let you slack, who don't let you settle, who don't let you make excuses. People who challenge you, who force you to grow, who push you past your limits. Because if everybody around you is comfortable, you're going to get comfortable. If everybody around you is making excuses, you're going to start making excuses. But if everybody around you is grinding, if everybody around you is chasing greatness, then guess what? You're going to step up. You don't need a crowd. You don't need a big group of people. You just need the right people. You need people who believe in you, who see your potential, who remind you of who you are when you forget. You need people who will tell you the truth, even when it hurts. People who won't let you quit. People who refuse to let you stay the same. And if you don't have those people right now, that's okay. Start being that person for yourself. Start setting a standard for your own life. But start leading by example. Because when you operate at a high level, when you commit to excellence, when you stop tolerating negativity and excuses, the right people will come. The right energy will find you. But it starts with you. It starts with making a decision that you will no longer accept anything less than the best, not just from yourself, but from the people around you. It starts with recognizing that your circle is either lifting you up or pulling you down. And once you understand that, you'll realize that success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you do it with. So look at your circle. Make the tough decisions. And if you have to walk alone for a while, walk alone. Because success is too important to let the wrong people hold you back. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants to live that dream life. But the question is, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because the truth is, success costs. And the price is not money, it's not luck. It's sacrifice. It's discipline. It's giving up the things that are comfortable, easy, and convenient for the things that are going to get you where you need to go. Most people don't make it not because they don't have the talent, not because they don't have the ability, but because they are not willing to pay the price. They want success, but they don't want to give up their distractions. They want success, but they don't want to give up the late nights wasting time, the weekends doing nothing, the habits that keep them stuck. They want success, but they're not willing to let go of comfort. You can't have it both ways. You can't want greatness and live like everybody else. You can't talk about chasing your dreams, but keep wasting time on things that don't matter. You say you want it, but what have you given up for it? What have you sacrificed? Because if you haven't given up anything, you don't really want it. Some of you, you're too comfortable. You're too attached to things that are holding you back. You're too attached to your old habits, your old routines, your old ways of thinking. And you don't realize that those very things are the reason you're stuck. You want success, but you don't want to give up the things that are keeping you from it. If you want to be great, you have to be willing to let go. You have to be willing to cut off distractions. Or you have to be willing to say no to things that don't align with your vision. You have to be willing to sacrifice your comfort for your calling. You want to be in shape, but you're not willing to sacrifice junk food. You want to be successful, but you're not willing to sacrifice sleep to put in the extra work. You want to build a business, but you're not willing to sacrifice your weekends, your parties, Netflix binges. Listen, there's a price for everything. And the people who win, they understand that. They understand that to get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. You have to give up something to go up. The problem is, most people want a shortcut. They want the results without the sacrifice. They want the rewards without the struggle. They want the success without the discipline. But that's not how it works. You don't get to be great by accident. You don't stumble into success. You build it, you earn it, you fight for it. And that fight, it requires sacrifice. It means waking up earlier when everybody else is sleeping. It means working on your craft when everybody else is watching TV. It means saying no to distractions, saying no to things that feel good in the moment but don't serve your future. What if you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Because if you really want it, you will be willing to let go of anything that stands in your way. You will be willing to sacrifice the temporary for the eternal. You will be willing to give up some sleep, give up some comfort, give up some fun to build the life you say you want. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be. Because if it were easy, everybody would do it. If it were easy, everybody would be successful. But success is reserved for the ones who are willing to sacrifice. The ones who are willing to push past the pain, push past the discomfort, push past the excuses. And listen, sacrifice isn't just about what you give up, it's also about what you commit to. It's about giving up bad habits, but also committing to good ones. It's about sacrificing wasted time, but also committing to productive time. It's about sacrificing distractions, but also committing to focus. Some of you, you've been playing it safe. You've been holding on to things you know you should have let go of a long time ago. You've been keeping habits, routines, mindsets that you know are keeping you small. But you have to make a decision. Because every day you hold on to the things that are holding you back, you are delaying your destiny. Every day you refuse to sacrifice, you are pushing your success further and further away. At some point, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, how much longer am I going to keep making excuses? How much longer am I going to hold on to things that are slowing me down? How much longer am I going to delay my future because I'm not willing to pay the price? The people who win, they don't wait. They don't hesitate. They don't make excuses. They make sacrifices. They let go of whatever's standing in their way. They make the hard choices. And because of that, they reap the rewards. So stop telling yourself you want it if you're not willing to sacrifice for it. Stop saying you're chasing success if you're not willing to give up the things that are keeping you from it. Because at the end of the day, success belongs to those who are willing to pay the price. You say you want success, but do you even believe it's possible for you? Do you truly believe you have what it takes? Because let me tell you something, if you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't matter how much talent you have, how many opportunities come your way, or how much work you put in. If your mind is filled with doubt, If you don't see yourself as capable, as worthy, as someone who deserves success, then you will sabotage yourself every single time. Some of you are grinding, you're working, you're putting in the effort, but deep down you don't really think it's going to happen for you. You don't really believe you can be great. And so when challenges come, when obstacles hit, when things don't go as planned, instead of pushing through, you hesitate. You second guess yourself. You start looking for reasons why it won't work instead of focusing on how to make it work. You let the doubt creep in. You let fear take over. But listen to me, you cannot win if your mind is working against you. You cannot succeed if you don't first see yourself as a winner, because everything starts in the mind. Success is mental before it ever becomes physical. Before you achieve it in the real world, you have to first achieve it in your mindset. You have to see it before it happens. You have to believe it before it manifests. You think the greats got to where they are by accident. No. They saw themselves winning before the world ever knew their name. They believed in their vision before they had proof. They walked, talked, and acted like champions. Anybody ever call them that? And that's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. It's belief. It's the unwavering, unshakable confidence that no matter what happens, no matter how long it takes, no matter what obstacles come, they will find a way. Some of you are waiting for the world to validate you before you believe in yourself. You're waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough. You're waiting for permission, for approval, for somebody to say, yes, you can do this. But let me tell you right now, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. If you don't see yourself as capable, as worthy, as deserving of success, then why would anyone else? You have to make a decision. You have to decide that you are enough, that you have what it takes, that you are capable of achieving anything you put your mind to. And once you make that decision, once you shift your mindset, once you start moving like you belong in the room, like you deserve to be successful, everything will start to change. Because the mind is powerful. The mind will either push you forward or hold you back. It will either open doors for you or close them before you even try to walk through. And too many of you are letting your mind work against you. You're talking yourself out of opportunities. You're making excuses. You're focusing on what you can't do instead of what you can do. And until you change that, you will always stay stuck. Success is about skill. It's about effort. It's about consistency, but more than anything, it's about belief. It's about knowing deep down that no matter what happens, you will figure it out. It's about trusting yourself even when nobody else does. It's about stepping up with confidence, even when you don't have all the answers. Some of you are waiting until you feel ready. You're waiting until you feel confident before you take action. But let me tell you the truth, confidence comes before you take action. Confidence comes because you take action. But you don't wait to feel ready. You move forward while you're afraid. You step up even when you have doubt. Because every time you take action, every time you push through fear, every time you refuse to quit, you build confidence. You build belief in yourself. You prove to yourself that you are capable. And once you start believing, everything shifts. You stop making excuses. You stop hesitating. You stop waiting for permission. You start moving differently. You start walking in rooms with your head high. You start operating like the person you were meant to be. And when that happens, doors will open. Opportunities will come. People will take notice. Because success follows confidence, but it starts with you. It starts with the way you see yourself. It starts with the story you tell yourself every single day. You have to stop telling yourself why you can't and start telling yourself why you can. But you have to stop doubting yourself and start trusting yourself. Because the moment you truly believe, nothing will be able to stop you. You want success, but do you understand what it takes to finish? Do you understand that starting something is easy, but finishing is what separates the greats from everybody else? Anybody can begin a journey. Anybody can get excited at the start. Anybody can talk about their dreams, make plans, and take the first few steps. But the ones who make it, the ones who reach the finish line, are the ones who refuse to quit when it gets hard. And that's the problem. Most people don't finish. Most people start strong but fade away when the struggle comes. When things don't happen as fast as they want, when obstacles get in the way, when the process takes longer than expected, they start looking for a way out. They start making excuses. They start justifying why it's okay to quit. But listen to me, if you quit every time it gets tough, you will never succeed. If you stop every time the road gets rough, you will never reach your destination. You have to make up your mind right now that quitting is not an option. You have to decide that no matter what happens, you will keep going. Because the ones who win are not the ones who never struggle. They are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who fail, struggle, fall down, and still keep going. Some of you have been stopping right before your breakthrough. You have been walking away right before things were about to shift. You don't even realize how close you were. But because it didn't happen as fast as you wanted, because the process was uncomfortable, because you didn't see the results immediately, you stopped. And now you're wondering why you're not where you want to be. Let me tell you something. Every success story is built on endurance. Every great person you admire, every champion, every leader, every person who has built something meaningful, they all had moments where they wanted to quit. They all had times when it felt impossible. But the difference, they didn't quit. They didn't stop when it got hard. They didn't walk away just because they didn't feel like doing it anymore. They made a decision to finish. You have to ask yourself, hey, am I really committed to this? Because if you're only in it when it's easy, you'll never make it. If you're only committed when you feel motivated, you'll never reach your goals. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you won't feel like getting out of bed. But success doesn't care about your feelings. Success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Success only comes to those who push through, even when they don't feel like it. We have to develop the mindset that says, I don't care how I feel, I'm going to show up anyway. I don't care how hard it gets. I'm going to finish what I started. Because when you commit to finishing, when you make that your mindset, everything changes. You stop making excuses. You stop looking for an easy way out. You stop letting your emotions dictate your actions. And when that happens, when you refuse to quit, success has no choice but to show up. Some of you have been stuck in the cycle of starting and stopping your whole life. You get excited, you start something new, but as soon as the excitement wears off, as soon as it gets tough, you quit. And then you start something else, and the same thing happened. And now years have passed, and you're in the same place because you never finished what you started. It's time to break that cycle. It's time to stop quitting. It's time to stop making excuses. You need to commit not just to starting, not just to working hard for a few weeks or months, but to finishing. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what comes against you. Because when you finish, when you push through the struggle, when you cross that finish line, that's when success happens. That's when growth happens. That's when you separate yourself from everybody else. The world is full of people who started, but the ones who stand out, the ones who changed the game, they are the ones who finished. So make the decision today. Whatever you start, you finish. No excuses, no quitting, no backing down, because your success depends on it.